Hi everybody, in today's video we are continuing with a series of video related to the field of anthropology, and we are going to talk today about the first cities and states in human history, and we are going to use the example of the classic Maya site of Copan in Honduras. And we are going to describe a little bit about the early states and the communities and the cities, because this gives us like a clear idea in comparison with other cities and states all over the world. First of all, we are going to talk about the attributes of early states, and also, as I mentioned, looking specifically to the Copan site or the Copan dynasty in Honduras. First of all, attributes of the early states. Number one is we have at this time a formal central government. At this time, communities were united by a government. Second, we have a division of society into classes, meaning we have different divisions like the upper class, in this case the king and the royal family, and we have lower classes, meaning the masses of people, workers, and we have kind of a little bit of middle class. We could be perhaps the military and the officers at this time, but mainly we have like upper and lower classes, meaning the king and the monarchy and the masses of people. Then we have the control of a specific regional territory by the means of the military. So at this time, when people settle in this kind of states, communities, we have what is a specific territory in specific areas, and this territory was protected, was held together by the power of the military. So they needed like a strong military in order to control and maintain territories from other city-states, maybe like neighboring city-states around these settlements. We have also another attribute of the early states is the farming economy, specifically looking into agriculture. So these were like, in this case, they settle in valleys in certain areas next to the rivers and water supply, because they needed the water, of course, for in this case agriculture and the sustenance of the city and the people. So these are like these were like farming economies. Then we have dense populations, because when they settle in an area, they have in this case like water supplies and everything. People in the population started to grow. We have, as I mentioned, the apparition of cities, different cities that in this case build of it's a characteristic of the early states. Then we have tributes and taxes. So in order to support the monarchy, to support the king, they have to pay taxes in order to maintain also the army and to maintain the whole dynasty, and monuments and sculptures and the tombs of the kings and all this luxury of the monarchy, the upper class. We have craft specialization, meaning we have people that became like specialists in crafts, in all kind of monuments and sculptures and reliefs and all these kind of monuments and constructions of different cities, and for the special jobs or for the royal family. Then, as I mentioned, we have another characteristic of the early states is the appearance of monumental, in this case architecture, which is a characteristic looking also again at the city of Copan. And we have also record keeping like systems of writing, like they used to keep records of the city, the government, their kings, and all of the well-being of the community, or in this case of the city-states. And specifically again, we find all of these all over the world. Now, looking more in details into the Copan Valley in Honduras. First of all, as I mentioned, we have the elite, the noble class. They used to have, like, of course, the best buildings. Their houses were built made of stone houses, and we have the commoners, the masses, the common people. Their houses were like made of mud houses and with stone platforms, but like poor conditions compared with the nobility, the elite, the royal family. Then, looking specifically at the Copan Valley, this was like a Mayan society. We have the Maya hieroglyphs that they used to write the hieroglyphs that we have found. Mainly, they talk about, or they wrote about their own people. They wrote about the dynasty and the kings, things related to themselves. Then we have also a hieroglyphic stairway which tells us the story of the city of Copan, there in Honduras. So it's a lot of excavation, and it's a whole site showing all these treasures. Now let's talk about the state, the kings, the nobility. First of all, in this case, the Copani kings. Copan, they call it Copani kings. First of all, the kings, the rulers, it was believed that they received their power from or through supernatural rituals. In this case, the kings used to make like self-portraits of themselves, like statues, the monuments. We have rituals. They used to perform rituals like animal sacrifices in order to obtain the favor of the gods and maintain the power and hold the community or the city, the states together. So it was a characteristic of the first or the early city-states. Looking specifically at the city of Copan, we have found like different like altars where they used to sacrifice animals. Specifically, the jaguars were found like bones and other in this case findings and discoveries in specific areas in the city where they used to perform these kind of ritual sacrifices of animals in this case. We know also that there were like 16 kings who ruled the city of Copan. Only small portion of the elite, of the high royal family, only like small portion of it could read. And as I mentioned, they settled in a fertile valley next to the river, so they could, in this case, sustain their cities and agriculture and all of this. So basically, this is like a short resume story or specific characteristics of the early city-states, looking into the city of Copan, because mainly this was the city that one of my teachers, one of my professors, was there actually doing all this kind of diggings and archaeology in the Copan Valley in Honduras. And so all of this information I got it from her, who was actually one of the anthropologists, one of the archaeologists that was doing all the diggings and the archaeology there in Copan in Honduras. So the next video we are going to continue with more about these anthropology topics, and we are going to discuss about the meanings or the definitions of race, ethnicity, and many other concepts. Thank you so much for your attention, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.